Okay, what I've got here is a 2002 Ford Explorer, and the problem that we're having is the blower is running. You can hear that running in the background, but there's no air coming through the vents. There's heat or cool, but no forced air is coming through. So what I'm doing here is I've released the glove box, which you have a couple of little tabs here, one on each side, and they just stick inside this way. All right, you just press it in and pull it out, and you let the glove box flop on down. When you get in there, what you're looking at right here, okay, is the blower motor. Okay, now what I've found on the internet is that this little deal right back here, okay, I believe they call it the actuator. You see that little round metal thing right up there with a little tube coming down from it next to the black. I got the flashlight right on it. There you go. Okay, that's the actuator, and what's connected to that is a little plastic clip. And in the back of here, there's a door that they say the clip falls off of, and it's back inside of here. Okay, so when you're looking here, right above the motor, you have some screws. Okay, you have a screw here, and then you have a screw back here on the side. Okay, right up here, and then there's one coming up into this metal. Okay, see the metal bracket? Well, there's one right there. Then there's another one back here and another one right around the corner, and there's some more in there. And I'm sure if you want to take the entire dash apart, you can handle it that way. But what I've seen them do is sawzall all that out and all of this out and break it, and they've cut right here, and I think I'm gonna go, and they've cut right here, sorry. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go with the cut mode. I'm going to put a couple of cuts right here, and I'll show you what we got here is with all of these screws out. They come out right here, and I'll show you. Here we have a simple little screw, okay, right there, and that's an 8mm. Okay, I used a socket for these ones back here, and I use a wrench for these, but you can do it any way that you want. But right here, when you get in here, the other thing that you have that goes wrong with these isn't always that actuator door, and sometimes it's a combination of, but when I pry up on that, you kind of got to peek at it a little bit. Oh, that's just fun. Here you go. So from outside of the cabin, you can see that you get all this stuff up in there. You see all that stuff, all the leaves and garbage, you get all that in there. And what that sits on top of, okay, if you can see, what it sits on top of is a screen. There's a screen in there right above the blower motor, and you see how I can see straight through to the back there? I'm guessing what that's going to mean. Okay, you can see outside. Okay, so I'm guessing what that means is that that clip that connects to the actuator back there is actually broken. So what happens is on top of that garbage, the door falls off. There's a door that covers back there, all the way back there. See where you see the checkered back, and you can see light coming from the other side? There's a door back there that sits against that, and that opens and closes to allow to only have cabin air filtered through, or to have exterior air come in from outside. And that door right now is open, letting the air from outside come in, but it's also letting in a lot of debris. Okay, so we got to get that debris out of there, and we got to get that door back up if you don't want fresh air from outside, which in the wintertime, I'm guessing that's not what we're going to want. So if you give me a brief second here, I'm going to take a look at what else I can do here. Right here, what it showed on the internet was to take a knife and cut right there and separate that edge, okay? And then do it again right over here. And then this section here will flop up and kind of be like a makeshift plastic door for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out my utility blade, and I'm gonna give that a whirl here. So we'll do this right here. Here we go. I'm gonna pop this up. I need to see exactly where I need to cut. So if I can get this in here, it might help me out. So I'm right here. Let me get something up there to hold it up. Let me get a little light in there. Looks like I can cut right on that edge and open that up. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give that a try, okay? So I'm gonna get a little bit of light in there, okay, and see if I can manage this at the same time. We don't want to cut anything else in here, so let's be nice about it. I'll switch hands here and see if we can't still give you a bird's eye view of what I'm doing here. I'm gonna cut right down here. Just gonna take an easy little slice on it. Don't put too much pressure. You don't want to fly down and cut something else. It's plastic. A couple of repeat runs and you should be able to get through it. So just finesse it a bit. Don't get too far into that top. Okay. Most of the videos, they don't show you, you know, this fun part. They just assume, let's say it and then go. But it's those videos that led me to this today. So don't get me wrong, I appreciate the way that they said it. Without it, I'd still be trying to figure out how to get air into this car. The defrost issue I can deal with, but I'd rather not have the missus deal with it. So broke through there. Looks like I'm gonna need a little bit more finessing on that thick part right there. So let's see if I can set this phone down here where you can still see. Let's see. Can you see what I got going on here? There you go. All right, let's see what we can do here. Okay. That didn't work very well. So I'll just keep at it. Small little strokes right there. Keep coming down, put some pressure in them a little bit, but not too much. Here we go. A few more cuts, it looks like. Oh, close, getting there. I think I might have got through. So let's see. Let's see what the outcome is here. Did I get it? There we go. That's one side. Now I'll come over here. Okay, you guys see that? You see how it went? I pop it up. There you go. I only cut that edge. Now, when we bolt it back down, we just push this all up in here. When we bolt that down and bolt this down, it's still going to seal up, and it's not going to be too big a deal. It's not at all. All it's doing is pulling air. It's just going to get a little bit more air from a different place than what it actually wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, okay? And we'll pause you for a second. Okay, now, here's what we got. I went ahead and I cut that edge over there, okay? And I open that up, then I cut this edge over here, okay? Now, it was a little stiff to pop up, and then there was a slight snap and then go. Now you got a plastic door, but you see all that stuff in there? There's no way that's gonna allow airflow to go through that vent. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take something and get this all out of here, and if I have to, then I'll shop vac it. Or, nope, I guess it sits right here in the front. But it's all right on top of that door. So here's the stuff that gets in there, and it happens quite often over time. I guess this is something that should be made a little bit more accessible. The engineers, I'm sure, really put a lot of thought into homeowners being able to, well, automotive owners being able to do this on their own. Now you're gonna see this. Here we go. See that door? That door right here. This goes all the way on the back. Now, if you don't care, I guess, about whether or not you get good air pressure, right here, let's see if we can see it. See that little round spot right there? That's where the actuator switch connects to it. But it broke off. You can see the breakage right there. So we can go through all the trouble of doing that, but my understanding is it's somewhere near around $1,000 to have this fixed so that it'll open and close again. Most people don't even use the fresh air option to begin with. They use the air in the cabin or roll a window down or something. So it shouldn't be a big deal, but I'm going to put it back in there because I don't want that cold air coming in, making it harder to heat. So, but for right now, I'm going to set it up on top of the dashboard here so I can get in here and get some more of this garbage out. And man, this is no joke. Look at this. Look at this. Now, I would suggest that, you know, everyone kind of pay attention to possibly cleaning that stuff out preemptively, I guess, now that I know that it happens there like that. But, you know, I knew there had to be some sort of a blockage or a vacuum not operating because of the fact that you could hear the motor here. I'll show you here. Okay, so listen to the blower. You hear it now. Okay, that's the blower going. Okay, but nothing was flowing through any of the vents, no matter what setting we put it on. And now we have stuff flowing through the vents. So before I get too much more garbage in there, I'm going to shut it off. Okay, so you heard the vent, so you knew that the blower motor was working, but the question is, why wasn't I getting air out of the vents if you can hear the blower going? So you know that the blower's not bad, that's not the issue. So you have to come in here and manually get into it. But what I'll show you is now that I've gotten this far, okay, I'm gonna look here, I'm gonna turn it on, okay, and let's just go all the way on. Take it off auto, put it here, turn it all the way up. Now, let's see, put it here, and we'll show you. See that? So now, if I put this against it, I got air flowing now. See how that goes? Okay, I didn't have airflow before, but now that I took all that stuff out that you watched, I have airflow. Now, let me get a little bit more of this cleaned out, and then we'll get back to it. You see this back here? That's where that door goes. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape that up. I'm going to put some tape on the door, and then I'm going to put it back in there, and then I'm going to lift it up, and then I'm going to reach in and push it all back with a screwdriver or something after I get the rest of this garbage out here. You see all that in there? Here's a bird's eye view of what it looks like inside of there. And you see you're going to want to get all that stuff out of there. I might even pull up and get the vacuum cleaner into this. But here's the problem. So if you're having the problem that we're talking about, this is going to fix it. So I'll be right back. Now, here's my little helper here. See them tiny hands I got right there? That's Timothy. And I used him to get his hands up in that little area to get most of that stuff out of there for me. Right, Timothy?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some quarters in the machine and get some shop vacuum going on. It was easier to do it here. It's dry and plenty of light. So bear with me for a second.
So do you just do...
Okay, and here we go. Some shop vacuum here. Getting up in there and getting that all out of there. Timothy, hold this right here. No, don't put your hand over there. There you go. Just like that. Okay? Hold it here. So you can see right in there. Don't move. There you go. Good job. That's my little YouTube assistant there. Really try and get everything out of there that I can. There we go, that's working. Now there's some stuff caught up in that screen, in that mesh screen right there. So I need to get some of that off of there with my fingers still, so we can back it all up. There you go. I'm gonna get some of this off of here. There we go. And then, there we go.
They can't see it.
Good.
No,
Now,
they couldn't see
right
that.
now, again, as I said, what I'm going to do back here is go ahead and put that door back on. But we have a small problem with that is there's not a lot of room to get in there. Even with the little guy's hands, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to make sure that it's in place properly. So the important part, though, is that we actually got airflow moving appropriately through each vent the way that it needs to. So whether or not I'm stuck with the fresh air or not is the issue. I am going to put this in the best I can with tape. Other guys use a screwdriver, and I use a drill and put a screw in place to hold it up there. But I may even switch to that. But right now I'm going to try the tape, and if the tape doesn't work, then we're going to go to the screw, and then we're going to put everything back together. Alright, now you'll see right here, I've got that vent. There's the back side of it. I ran tape all the way around because it's got this foam insulator on there that will get in the way of holding the tape still. I just put some tape all the way around it, and I got it in there, and now the fun part's going to be trying to get it up in there because I got to get it in there and do a little bit of maneuvering. So here we go. I went ahead and did a little bit of preemptive. I got a screwdriver in here, right here, holding that up at the edge. Let's hope that that stays still. And then I utilized the kids' Legos right there to go ahead and hold me open. Now I'm going to go ahead, and it got me some more room so I get my big hands all the way in there. So now get this light in place. Here we go. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Now the fun part. Flap down this way. So what I did is I attempted it without the tape, and I can't promise you this is going to work, but it is an attempt. Here we go. Yeah, probably not. I've got it partially in there, but I got to get that back corner the rest of the way up. I got the right side. There we go, almost there. See how it is right there? I only have the top tape. I had to take the sides and the bottom off because this is Gorilla Tape. It was sticking really good to everything, so I couldn't quite get it in there. So
What station is this?
okay, now what you'll see is you've got the blower motor, you've got where I've opened it up, you've got the flange, and you've got the Lego where I use as a spacer. Now up there on that top, on that vent door, what I did was go ahead, I took all the tape that I had on the sides and that off, but I left the tape across the middles to make sure that it stayed on there good. Okay? Then I went in a piece at a time and taped it up to the sides, to the bottom, and there's tape all the way up at the top. You'll see, let's see, you might be able to sides. So it's probably going to be a hard video to watch. I keep turning the camera 5 different ways, but here's this. Now the only thing left for me to do is to pull out my spacers and screw that flange back down via all these screws that I told you I took out, and then put the glove box back in place. And the biggest thing is we have now got air. Okay, my 2002 Ford Explorer now blows air out of every vent the way that it's supposed to. No more defrost issues. So there you have it. If you're having the problem that I was having, you can hear your blower motor running but you're not getting anything, That's about the best way you can fix it, unless you want to drop $1,000 at the automotive shop. Have a good day, and thanks for chiming in. Say bye, Timothy.
Bye.